This is the accusation. They're throwing around the word treason.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016.
They're saying that Obama knew that Russia did not meddle in the election, did not have any impact.
They deserve to have faith and trust in the integrity of our democratic republic, which has been undermined by President Obama through his direction of this manufactured fake intelligence document, knowing that it was filled with lies and knowing that it would and could then be used for all of the actions that came after.
When Joe Rogan, the guy who'll question whether elk meat can cure society, teams up with Tulsi Gabbard, the political wild card who treats Congress like a bad group project, the result is pure chaos aimed straight at Barack Obama. Forget calm debates and polite commentary. This is full-blown destruction with a side of, did they really just say that? Buckle up, because things are about to get way too intense for presidential comfort.
You're guilty of massive amounts of misinformation, disinformation as a part of a propaganda campaign.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed federal prosecutors from launching a grand jury investigation into members of the Obama administration over the 2016 Russia investigation.
A lot of them are guilty of it. A lot of the people that were in that White House press conference, a lot of the organizations they work for, distributed absolute lies, total lies.
Tulsi Gabbard declassified documents that she says shows Obama administration officials manufactured intelligence to make it look like Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
How many of them during the whole Russiagate thing?
Some people think that the Russia thing is real.
Still.
I mean, the whole Steele dossier where it was completely concocted.
Funded by the Clinton campaign.
Correct.
The great American love affair with Barack Obama has always seemed like an epic romance that looked flawless on the surface. But once you peek behind the curtain, it feels more like a messy Netflix drama. He had the brand, the voice, the charisma. He could read a weather report and make it sound like poetry. People swooned, cried, and believed they were witnessing history.
Deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week, and the documents that we will be releasing later this week that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment, that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day.
But when the credits rolled and the curtain dropped, hope and change suddenly came with fine print. That's where Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard step in, like two very different detectives working the same case. Rogan, the UFC commentator and conspiracy-loving podcast emperor who never met a mushroom theory he didn't like, sees Obama as just another overhyped celebrity brand.
That was Obama.
Nah, I'm just kidding. You know what I'm talking about.
Obama was this brilliant lawyer. He was so smooth.
We had so much fun last time.
He was so measured.
And it is surprising. You got a rule of reporters, celebrities, cameras, and he says it all.
And the way he talked about things was so statesmanlike.
Is this dinner too tacky for the Donald? What could he possibly be doing instead?
As the president, what we have always needed was someone who represents the very best of us.
Is he at home? Eating a Trump steak? Tweeting insults out of her? What's he doing?
We want someone who seems better than us.
Tulsi, the calm and battle-tested ex-congresswoman who has seen firsthand what those foreign policy, hope and change promises actually turned into, sharpens the knife with receipts. Together, she and Rogan become the unexpected buddy cop duo America didn't know it needed. One cracking the jokes, the other dropping truth bombs, making Obama's glossy image suddenly look like nothing more than a cheap Instagram filter covering a very messy reality.
And President Obama then directed his Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media. None of them are addressing this fact that there was a shift, a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election.
Joe Rogan has always had a way of breaking politics down into something that feels like a backyard barbecue conversation. Forget policy papers and think tank jargon. He's the guy who will compare America to a UFC fighter bragging about his footwork while getting knocked out every round. That's exactly how he views Obama. The speeches were elegant, the delivery smooth, but beneath the polish were drone strikes raining down like confetti, bankers cashing in, and surveillance programs that would make Orwell rise from the grave just to mutter, "Told you so." Rogan laughs at the absurdity, not the tragedies, but the contradictions. Imagine a man who won a Nobel Peace Prize before even unpacking his White House boxes, then spent years waging wars that looked anything but peaceful. It's like giving someone Employee of the Month before they've even started, only to discover they're stealing office supplies and deleting company files. Rogan revels in pointing out that hypocrisy, because nothing is funnier than watching a self-marketed political messiah end up looking more like a Silicon Valley CEO who sold you an app that only drains your bank account.
It's definitely not helping the Democrats knowing what we now have confirmed about Biden. Give me some volume. Go full screen.
What you know now, you wish you had a third term. You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man, or a front woman, and then they had an earpiece in it, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know literally run the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country. Now, like, no, you didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto-pen.
Tulsi, on the other hand, doesn't need Rogan's humor to make her point. She carries the weight of someone who wore the uniform, deployed overseas, and witnessed firsthand how America's foreign policy decisions unfolded in real time. For her, Obama's carefully crafted image wasn't just political branding, it had real consequences. While the world applauded him with standing ovations, Tulsi saw what those policies meant for soldiers, for civilians abroad, and for entire regions destabilized in the name of strategic interests. Calmly, without ranting or shouting, she dismantles the myth piece by piece, exposing the mess that others tried to sweep under the rug. As an insider turned outsider, she reminds people that behind the polished speeches were real lives impacted, long after the applause had faded.
Evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact. The implications of this are far-reaching and have to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. It has to do with an outgoing president taking action to manufacture intelligence to undermine and usurp the will of the American people in that election and launch what would be a years-long coup against the incoming President of the United States, Donald Trump.